Because the truth is, even when you've got the man, the woman, whatever you're looking for, whether you're gay, bi, straight, male or female, we think that once we have the relationship, we're there. But that just starts another chapter of how do you negotiate? How do you deal with differences? So I call it the first two steps, the first two stages. First of all, you really need to love who you are. Because when you don't really get what your gifts are and what you're bringing to a relationship, you're going to tend to be the good girl. You're going to suppress what you need. You're going to not make any waves. And then over time, you're going to get resentful. And then you may blow up and say, this is over. And the guy's like, where did this come from? I had no idea, because you're keeping yourself down. You're not actually speaking your truth, being authentic, being fully self-expressed. That's the first stage. The second stage is to get really clear on who is it you need in your life, what would be in alignment with your values that would make life easy. So without those, what we do is we end up contorting ourselves. I did that for 10 years. Somebody picked me, is like, okay, good, let's see if we can make this work. And I would throw myself into it. But what I teach women, and this is just as applicable to men as well, you are the buyer. So when we go to the grocery and we see that whole shelf full of all the different milk, homogenized, lactose-free, almond milk, we're deciding which one we're going to invest in based on how does it fit into our lives. And it's the same thing with a partner. I find a lot of people out there is if somebody shows interest, it's like, okay, let's go with it. You need to sit back as both a male or a female and watch and get the information as, does this person fit into my life? Do we integrate with ease? Do we have the same values? Are we compatible? Because when you have that, life is really easy.
Wow, you make it sound so easy, like a two-step process, but just step one could take years.
Well, I'm going to say that it's ongoing, right? Even though
Yeah.
I'm in a relationship, I'm still working on myself. So it's not like you've got some place to get to, and when you're there, then you can start to date. No, because relationships are a container for self-development, for healing, for seeing how we show up. What are our triggers from childhood, our wounds? And I talk about trauma with a big T, people who had a big trauma, but we also have little traumas, small T. My small T is, we moved to France when I was 8. I didn't speak French. They put me in grade 1 for 2 months, grade 2 for 2 months, and finally in grade 3. Then I changed schools to grade 6, but then we moved to Canada in grade 6, and then I changed schools in grade 7. All of this taught me that it's not worth it to make friends because we're going to move again. And so that's a small T trauma. In grade 2 in France, somebody pushed me and the teacher knew it was me, pulled me by my hair to the end of the line. My mouth is open and I can't find the words in French to say it wasn't me. And as a child, I made the decision, I don't have the words to stand up for myself. What I was missing is 2 words in French. But I lived the rest of my life as though I didn't have the words to stand up for myself because it was true when I was 8. And until I did the work to shift that, I put up with a lot. I swallowed a lot. I didn't speak up a lot because I didn't think I had the words to stand up for myself. And I had to do that inner work to shift that belief that was true in childhood, but no longer served me as an adult.
How did you connect that to that origin story? Because if you're playing
Hmm.
that out over many, many years and now it's starting to show up in your relationships,
Yeah.
what is that process to go, wow, it was because of that, and now I can reframe
Hmm.
or work that?
Yeah, that's a great question. So my training is I'm an Adlerian therapist. I went to the Adler School of Professional Psychology to get my master's in psychology. And what we do with clients when we're doing therapy, we'll take their top 10 memories from childhood under the age of 8. So if you think about today, there could be 1,000 memories, like when you put your feet on the ground, when you brushed your teeth, when you slipped a ring on, or the shirt you chose. You're never going to remember those in 10 years from now because they weren't anchored in emotion. We have specific memories under the age of 8, which have created our reality, our beliefs that run throughout all our lives, unless we start to look at them and reframe them.
So if this is a particular therapy type that you're speaking of.
Anyone can actually do this. Just go back and think of your top 10 memories under the age of 8. They don't even have to be the top 10. What do you remember? A specific moment, and how did you feel? And it'll tell you what's the decision you made about that moment,
Hmm.
right? Like if
I
somebody puts Sorry, let me say, somebody puts their hand up and you go, Amanda.
Oh, no. I was finding it very interesting what you were talking about, because you were talking about two things, about authenticity and about trauma, and we talk a bit about that on the show, about how past trauma can affect your authentic self in the current state. And by you not being your authentic self, you therefore block yourself from finding the relationships, not only partnerships as relationships wise, but also in work or friendships, because you're blocking yourself on a lot of levels. And I think what Chandra was saying is, once you've identified this trauma, or how do you identify the trauma? Obviously, you would need help, or you would need to get a diary out or something and write those past memories down and then try to relate them, to what is going on in your life now. But what I found interesting about what you said is, when we are looking for a partner, we should kind of know what we need. We should know what we need. We should know what we're looking for. And we should know what they can give us. But a lot of times I feel like in today's world, a lot of us go under this false sense of we don't even know what we need, because what we need is being shown to us on social media. It's being told to us. We read it in the papers. So we think we need that. So how do we really identify what our true needs are?
Yeah, and I think that, men and women have been socialized very differently as to what you can. So you ask yourself those questions. As a woman, I can, or as a woman, I can only. As a man, I can't. And start to fill that out and see, what did you internalize from what you've been told? And then you start to question. You see on social media that you need to, I don't even want to mention names, but some of the, the stars that are having certain body parts look a certain way and everyone's following suit. And it's like, is that what is in integrity for me? Will that fulfill me? Or does it mean that I just belong? We all need to feel like we belong. And what social media is, sells us a formula where we can belong, but often there's a cost.
Hi guys, and thank you for listening to this episode of Beauty and the Beat. If you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. Until next time, I'll see you on the next episode. And please tell me if you thought Iris's tips were really helpful, because I'm definitely going to be using them on my next date.